welcome to our Field of Flags, and welcome to the first annual Field of Flags flag ceremony to discuss some of the wonderful things that are going on in our community today. First, my name is Wes Porter, Major Wes Porter, with the 65th Field Artillery Brigade out of Camp Williams, Utah, and it is a pleasure to address each and one of you fine Americans on this wonderful 4th of July weekend. First off, I'd like to thank those wonderful individuals that were able to make this happen. I'd like to thank the Vernal Freedom Fest Committee, and we have a couple members up here today. We have Joe Brown. Thanks, Joe. Shauna Joe Eves. And Bobby Oosterby. Our special guests today are from American Legion Post 11, and they are Hal, Hatch, and Reed Rasmussen. I'd also like to thank Vernal City for putting this on, allowing us to have this wonderful ceremony today. And of course, nothing would happen without you wonderful community members. With everything that's going on in our world and our country today, it does me well to see some fine Americans come together in solidarity and agree on something, which is being here today. Thank you. Just to say a few words, I'd like to quote a little bit from one of my favorite presidents, Ronald Reagan. When we look for the answer of why for so many years we prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than it has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual has been more available and assured here on this place than in any other land in history. The price of freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say we are in a time where there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its rows upon rows of simple white markers bearing crosses and stars of David. Underneath each of them lay a hero. Behind me, we have over 600 American flags. These flags are designed the same way those markers are. As you look at them, you'll be able to see row upon row at multiple different angles. That is there and designed for you to remember and to see the wonderful things that are happening to the heroes that we have today. Under one such marker lies a young man by the name of Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small town barbershop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There, on the Western Front, he was killed, trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We are told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf under the heading, "My Pledge," he had written these words: "America must win this war. Therefore, I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, and I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost, as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone." His pledge rings just as true today as it did over 100 years ago. I remember many years ago when I actually decided to put the uniform on, it was when 9/11 happened. I was actually out of the country. I was serving a 2-year mission for my church. And it was the day I landed is when 9/11 happened. And I'll never forget the feeling of helplessness and alone that I had, not being surrounded by any other Americans, not being surrounded by anyone else who felt the same way I felt and who knew the things that I knew about America and how great the things are. Because of that, I'd like to give you my pledge. And my pledge rings just as much as Mr. Treptow's. I pledge that America must win the war that we're going through right now. It is my pledge that I will fight, that I will sacrifice, and I will endure. And I will do it to the utmost of my ability, as if the issue that is tearing our country apart right now was mine and mine alone. And I'll never quit, I'll never accept defeat, and I will never surrender. And the only reason why I know I can uphold that pledge is because I'm surrounded by wonderful people like yourselves. Thank you. Now we have an excellent program for you today. It'll be short and sweet, but it'll be poignant. During this time, I'd like to remind you to think about one of the wonderful things that are going through your life right now. Think about the wonderful freedoms that you have. Think about some of the threats that have gone on the last little while and some of the decisions that you have made to uphold the standard of America. I'd like to introduce these wonderful former soldiers, sailors, and Marines and airmen to my right. Hal Hatch, U.S. Army. Reed Rasmussen, U.S. Air Force. Craig Carlson, U.S. Navy. Rod Cook, U.S. Army. Dale Hatch, U.S. Army. Glenn Allen, U.S. Navy. Bob Menrod, U.S. Army. Tom Schultz, U.S. Marines. Dean Merkley, U.S. Navy. I'd also like to recognize the sons of the American Legion, David Rasmussen and Casey Bryant. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to turn the time over to Hal Hatch.
It's good to see everybody out this evening, and we're going to proceed. We're going to have a pledge. We're going to have to the colors, and then we're going to have a 21-gun salute, and then we'll just be dismissed. We're glad to have you all out here. So if everybody would stand up, uncover, and let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please have a wonderful and safe 4th of July weekend.